Hey guys, Kris here for Thomann Guitars and Basses.
And my name is Guillaume. Hope you're all having a great day today.
We are about to shoot a Q&A video, and we're excited about it.
It's been a while. Last Q&A was shot in January?
5 months.
I got some catching up to do.
Yes, we selected a few fun ones. Some are actual questions, some are not.
As
more
usual,
like statements.
I didn't have anything to do with that, so I don't know any of them.
And as usual, I'm struggling with a name. I will definitely not even try to pronounce this username.
Hey! Yeah, that's not in the alphabet. Not in mine.
We are still really grateful for having your input and your comment.
True,
sorry for the name.
Your name will be on screen.
You guys can read it, probably better than us. I think they use too much pedals. This episode is more like how to get every sound with pedals. Guitar character is totally obscured. This came under the how to get all the sounds with a P90 loaded guitar video. Yeah, it's a matter of perspective, right?
We're gonna be friends, buddy.
Don't ask him. Don't ask him about playing too many pedals.
I understand. No, I understand his point. Like it does make a lot of sense to say that. Okay, you're playing with pedals, so it alters the sound of the instrument and whatnot. So you don't hear just the pickups. The thing is, like, unless you have, you know, you have the one setup where you're going to play with your vintage guitar into a vintage amp and crank the absolute life out of it and play in a tribute band, like Led Zeppelin tribute band or something. It's absolutely fine. The reality of it is that most guitar players now are going to use multi-effects, they're going to use pedals. They expect that to be part of the signal chain when you talk about a specific guitar, because the pickups are going to make a difference on how that overdrive and that fuzz and that, however that's going to react.
And I totally understand this is always like the same argument, like how can you show a piece of gear, whether it's a guitar, a pedal or an amp, without shaping its tone too much away, like changing it in any way with other gear in a video. Like if it's any sort of a demonstrational video, a review video, or just anything that shows gear. There's one important thing to know, I think, or just understand, and that helps to put this whole thing in perspective. The only thing that will not shape the tone and take away from the character of a guitar, or a pickup type in this case, is a mixer. Like, you know, you go line in a mixer, you will hear all the frequencies you get from the guitar. It will sound like
garbage.
Garbage. Thanks for the little less aggressive word, like trash. Because it's, don't get me wrong, you can get really awesome funk sounds and jazz sounds that way, but that's gonna be a very honest recreation or recording method for that specific guitar with that pickup. But that's not reality. That's something that some artists will use, like John Mayer also used line guitars, Pink Floyd, so many bands made awesome line guitar tones work perfectly, but that's a very exotic thing to do. You will use some kind of an amp. Even if you don't use any pedals, that amp will totally change the guitar's tone compared to another amp's.
Absolutely.
You know, change like tone changing capabilities. So whether you're using 4 or 5 pedals to get 4 or 5 different tones, or using 4 or 5 amps to get 4 or 5 different tones, you will have to go either of these paths.
For sure.
And which is the cheaper one?
Pedals.
That's why we are using pedals. We love it, their tones, they are just so much more convenient to use. They're way less expensive, way smaller, and way less. You can put way more of those in your trunk. So count me in.
We're trying to talk to as many people as we can, and that's what most people are going to do. Instead of having like 4 different tube heads or whatnot, they'll have like a clean amp, a few pedals, or maybe like a dual channel amp with a different types of boost to put in front of the gain
modulation
stages.
Or whatever,
It's just
or a multi-effect, which
the way
models
things are.
the same thing, right? Stanislav Karev, what melody on the clean sound at 2:24 did he play? Spinning in my head and can't remember. It makes me mad. Don't go mad, it's not worth it. This came under the same video, and this is, I'll make this loud, you can probably hear it through my lav mic. You will recognize the melody, and this guy will tell you the title of the song. This was the same P90 episode, by the way.
Yes. That song is called Vultures by John Mayer. And you should
Amazing
listen to
song. Yes, it's one of those songs you really want to learn as a guitar player and definitely want to listen to like a million times.
Yeah.
John Mayer. Next one. Richard Möller never understood the difference between P90 and single coil. P90 heavy Q&A this time.
Yeah.
You're feeling it?
But I like it. I like it.
We
I like
put out
some-
2 P90 episodes, so
some good
no
P90
wonder
videos.
there are lots of questions about P90s. Yeah, what are the differences?
The size. Essentially, they're no difference. The single coil is just a very broad term to describe the fact that there is only going to be one coil around the magnets, or either magnets, pull pieces, or bar magnet that you're going to have underneath the pickup.
And that's the big difference. The P90 will have the bars under the pickup, and you have the screws and the winding
to hold the core and the winding and the magnet in place
together, exactly. And a traditional single coil, which a P90 also is, but like a Strat single coil or a Tele single coil or a lipstick in that guitar, these will have the magnets as the pull pieces.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. You have 6 little magnets and you have the wires around it, and on the bottom it's just a plate. There's nothing like really useful down there, unless it has like a metal base plate, but that's a different story and very nerdy.
Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that. So P90s will have way more windings, they're hotter. Tonally, you'll get way more mids and outputs and just growl, less sparkle compared to like a Strat pickup or a Tele pickup.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say.
If we generalize, because sometimes it's different. But,
of course. No, but yeah, flatter wound, wider and more output. Essentially, I'm still mad that people say they're not single coils because they're not
really
your
are.
understanding of single coils, but technically they are still single coils. But yeah, it's just a bit of a different configuration of it and a drastically different type of tonal results.
And that's probably the reason why people don't call P90 single coils, because they are really like literally halfway between a nice and open sounding humbucker, like a low gain humbucker or low output humbucker, and like, let's say a Strat or a Tele pickup.
Yeah.
Literally somewhere halfway. That's so cool about them. They can go either way depending on your rig you're playing, the pickup selection, the pot setting.
Different cleanup as well. Like they do a lot of things differently.
And they have a lot of noise. I think we'll talk about that. Oh yeah, we will. Mr. Drifter. I guess it's
I don't know.
Mr. Drifter.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I have a Jerry James Nichols Gold Glory, and it has P90, and the pickup is very noisy.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on how to improve that, please? Cheers.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
To some extent, you can always like improve the quality of the signal chain from the guitar. I mean, in my experience, P90s are never really a shielding issue from the instrument in itself or whatnot. You do want to be careful in using good quality cables, good quality pedals, and have like a solid integrity of your signal chain. But you will have noise. That's just that's the nature of it. Just play louder than the noise.
Yeah. That's his philosophy, and I totally agree with it. The problem with P90s is that, well, they are the most noisy single coil pickup types out there. Compared to Strats and Teles, they have like at least double the noise floor.
Yeah.
And you can use good noise gates, obviously, that will not chop off the sustain of your notes, which will let you set it up in a way that you can have it subtle to sort of fade out.
Depending on where the gain is,
exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
So you might want to check out something like the Rev G8, which is a very nice and tweakable one. Or there are other ones.
Fulton
the
really
ISP
good.
decimators, the Fortin. They're really nice options, and in some cases it's not going to be cheap, but if noise is really annoying you and you cannot get rid of it, whether you shield the guitar or swap cables and pedals and power supply, which is also not to be underestimated.
Of course, yeah.
Then literally just a noise gate will help you, or you swap that pickup versus a noiseless P90, which
If you're,
is an option.
if you're a little bit handy with tools, you can also think about dummy coils. It's something that you find in some guitars, like the Epiphone Lee Malia had that.
I think Thomas Blug's guitars also have, I think,
too.
like an extra coil here somewhere on the, like under...
On the
somewhere
either there or
way.
on the back, like literally on the back of the guitar behind the pickup, and that'll quiet it down. It has a big effect on the the overall sound of it, but you still retain most of the single coil characteristics, and it just makes it quieter. Yeah. That's something you can look into.
That's the issue, or like the most important fact you have to know about noiseless pickups. They will always sound different than the non-noiseless, like the noisy version. Not worse. I'm not judging anything here.
Absolutely
I'm not putting, like priority orders. This is better. That's the first you should try. You go with whichever sounds and works best for you. They will just definitely have different tonal characteristics. It's just a thing. Especially P90s, which have the most amount of noise, which means you need to filter, in a way, a lot of noise compared to like a Tele or a Strat pickup. That is not possible without filtering actual frequencies that you are used to or accustomed to if you're using that noisy P90. So yeah, noise is a thing. If it's really annoying, get a noiseless or a noise gate pedal. Or play line. That's why. Alrighty, Jerry Lube. Why bend the neck for vibrato? Part of bad habits like verbal spill. Over. That's a classic argument, and you could, start a fist fight.
Let me bend my neck if I wanna. It's a very subtle effect.
Yeah.
It's not replacing the trem system. It's not replacing the vibrato that you'll have in your hand, in your fingers. It is a very subtle sort of flutter that you can add to some notes if the space and the guitar and everything allows for it. It's just a different effect.
I know Chris Buck, who's an amazing guitar player. If you don't know him, definitely check him out. Chris Buck made a video on this, like my most hated whatever habit or something like that. And I was like, okay,
I don't get
what
people
will that
get
be?
so annoyed.
People
by
get
it.
really annoyed or even angry by him bending the neck, and it's one of the nicest, most subtle, like Bigsby-like thing. And because you bend slightly, of course, you don't break guitars. You just slightly bend the neck to the front and to the back. It's a very different tone compared to finger vibrato. Vibrato, you cannot detune, like you cannot go flat on that pitch with your vibratoing. But if you wiggle the neck, you can actually go flat and then sharp and then flat and then sharp, depending on pushing and pulling that neck.
And to an extent that is so minimal that it
almost sounds like a chorus. It's amazing sounding, and you have to be, of course, careful and cautious and everything. You don't want to break the guitar, but it's hard to break a guitar.
It's not on us.
No, if you break a neck with a subtle vibrato, you are probably Chuck Norris. I don't know, because
it has to be.
It's not easy to break a guitar's neck with your bare hands. But of course, you just have to be careful. It's such a good sounding effect. Definitely try it out and be careful with your guitars. I could not play guitar anymore without.
That's most of what I do. I barely play notes anymore.
Yeah, and my main guitars are hardtail guitars. My Tele, my Les Paul are the guitars I gravitate towards most. And that's just a perfect replacement, especially for like open notes, open chords.
For sure.
You grab an A, an E, whatever open chord, and just
try and use a regular trem system on a guitar that's set up in open tuning with 16 to 68 gauge strings. If you don't take advantage of every single little nuance that you have in just moving the neck, you're not using a trem bar in that.
No.
You don't want to.
You're going to be using it once and then throw it away.
It's just like because of the amount of tension that you have on the other side.
You break that bar. Sure.
Yeah, it's just a thing that people do. Don't judge. It's wiggle your necks.
Yeah, it's just a technique. Don't
overthink it.
We have time for one more question. It's from Joachim Brian, I think.
Well then.
We'll see. Joachim, you can let us know how much I butchered your name. It was not intentional. I'd like to see just how versatile a shred machine with active pickups can be. Like an Explorer style with EMG 81s, 60s maybe. Or whatever else, like a super strat with Fishmans or whatever active stuff. Loving the idea. Or like the Mick Thompson Jacksons with the active pickups.
Yeah. But that's cool. Like, I think it's a good idea because active pickups still have such a bad rep for everything else but metal, and they're so good, like such good pickups for everything that's clean and that like funky guitar playing or jazz guitar playing.
Because and they clean up so well.
Because you have that built-in compression that just helps with a lot of that. And once you know how to navigate it, there's some things, you know, obviously. Split single coil sounds for low gain blues on an active set of humbuckers is going to be tricky, but there's ways around it, and you know, that's a good idea.
That's
Thank
an
you,
awesome
Joachim.
challenge. So Joachim, we are going to
absolutely
try that for
Let's
sure.
do that. Let's do it now. No. We don't have active pickups here actually.
Not right now, but we can change that real fast.
Okay. Let's do it.
Thanks so much for all the awesome comments. As you know, we try to come back to you as fast as we can in the comment sections as well. And if you find ones which are fun to argue on about or actual questions we can answer here, you'll end up in our Q&A video.
Yes.
You might.
So let us know. We mostly check recent videos, but if you want to let us know, if you have comments and questions for next time, put them underneath this video so we know exactly where to find the good ones. And we'll check them out. In the meantime, if you'd like to like this video while you're down there already, maybe subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on all the videos that we put out every week. And that's take care of yourselves, and we love you. Most importantly, and we'll see you soon.
For example, in the comments below. Bye.
Bye.